congratulations on the NIT bid. I assume you knew it was a good possibility after the Big 12 tournament. Just kind of what were your thoughts yesterday going into it? You know, it was kind of some questions about the auto bid in Oklahoma, and people didn't know what they were going to do or get in the tournament. So what was kind of your initial reaction when you learned you were in it and hosting, and especially a team like USF?
Well, we're happy to still be playing, first and foremost. I mean, I think for any competitor, you don't want your season to end. And our players and myself, we didn't want it to end. So, you know, I think they're excited to still be playing. You know, I'm excited, of course. I love this game. And for us establishing a culture that we want to establish, you know, to be the first year in the Big 12 and to go to a postseason tournament, especially, you know, you couldn't make the NCAA, but you go to the NIT, I think it's a really good first step for the group that we have, and establishing a culture of playing beyond the regular season is something that's very important for us to establish here at UCF.
I want to go back to the BYU game. What most frustrates you about the way the team exited the Big 12 tournament?
Well, I mean, it's frustrating, you know, that we gave up the things that we had talked about not giving up, which was the three-point shot. They hit 14 threes against us. We really emphasized take away the three. And granted, I mean, some of those threes were tough, and they made some hard shots. They can really shoot the basketball. But that was a huge emphasis for us, and also keeping them off the free throw line. He took 29 free throws. So 14 threes and 29 free throws is the exact things we talked about in execution that we didn't want to give up, because they're very good when they accomplish both of those things.
And they jumped out on you early.
With threes.
A challenge throughout the season, came down early.
Definitely. You know, they got off to a fast start, knocked down a couple threes in a row, and established them with a 6-0 run right away, which they were able to build on to about a 12-2 run to start the game. And that's tough. And then we're fighting uphill from that point on. I thought our guys, like always, have done a great job of competing. We end up cutting it to one possession, a 3-point lead, but then we couldn't overcome, you know, that deficit and take the lead.
Coach, this time last year, you had said you were happy to extend and continue playing in the postseason as something you guys kind of accomplished. What is it you were able to put together to not only compete, best conference in basketball, lose a top NBA draft pick, Taylor Hendricks to a top NBA draft pick, roll all that over, and then when tomorrow's said and done, you would have played 3 conference champions on your schedule. What was the key to roll that over, get back to post-conference play to make the NIT?
Well, one, we have a terrific staff, you know, terrific staff. And two, I think the leadership that we had at the top, guys like Shamari Allen, guys like Darius Johnson, you know, guys like Jaylin Sellers, they did a great job of leading our team. They knew our standards, they knew our expectations, and they gave us what they had every single night. And that's what you want to see. I thought they were great in the locker room, they were great on the court, and they believed in what we were doing. And I think that's why, you know, we put ourselves in position to have some, you know, quality wins, and put ourselves in position to continue playing.
You have a lot of new faces on the team this year. You guys are playing USF tomorrow. For some of the new faces, you kind of have to get them up to speed about the, you know, the war on I-4 and the rivalry and whatnot?
Yeah, well, you know, we have to get them up to date as we continue going forward, you know, with regards to that. As you mentioned, a lot of these players don't realize that. And they have a lot of new faces, too, so it's probably the same way on their end. But, you know, it's great, you know, it's great to play, you know, UCF. I think they probably feel the same way. You know, unfortunately, we're not, you know, in the same league anymore, but you know, that was always a great rivalry. And the War of I-4 was something I think took on, you know, special meaning for all of us and as competitors. And so, yeah, we have to get our guys up to speed with regards to, you know, exactly what it means.
All day today to prep and most of tomorrow, but how much of a scramble is it, and how much of a difference is the preparation when you didn't play them this year?
Totally different. I mean, they have a new coach, so they have a new system. So there's not very much familiarity, you know, going back to last year's scouts. So a lot of new things are coming at us with regards to what we have to do. And so, like you said, we'll spend, you know, today, you know, we started last night. We'll spend today and this evening and, you know, part of tomorrow, you know, finalizing our prep because, like I said, there are a lot of things that are different in this year's team.
Johnny, the transfer portal opens up today for some reason. How challenging is it for a coach now? I mean, you're trying to prepare for an NIT game. The portal opens up. I'm sure you have to keep your eye on what's in the portal for the future, but also your own guys on your own team. I mean, how challenging is it for a coach to have to deal with all this while you're getting ready for a tournament game?
It's challenging, but you have to adapt. I mean, it's just the nature of where we are in college sports right now. And so for us, I mean, we can multitask. We're capable of doing the things we need to do, and we have enough support staff and people in our program that keep an eye on what's going on in the portal, who's available, and if there are calls that we need to make, we'll make the calls we need to make based on what we're trying to do in the portal and finding out our guys, what's going to happen with them. I mean, it's just part of it. But I'm sure while we're playing, no one's going to, do anything, of course, until after the season's over, with regards to a team that's still competing.
So you don't have there's no one on your team that you know of that's gone in the portal or anything today?
Not that I know of. I would have got a call, or someone would have told me from our support staff that one of our players are in, or they would have told us themselves, and so that hadn't happened for us as of yet.
I know it's still early in the process, but any early scouting report on this USF team, what you've seen?
Really talented, very good shooting basketball team. Seem to play well together. Look, they have very good chemistry.
Coach, going back to the BYU game real quick, obviously you'd rather see it in a win, but Darius Johnson had a huge game. I think he broke 30 points. On top of the fact he'll be playing USF in this game upcoming with the rivalry. Is that the kind of motivation, is that kind of confidence you want to see for your team leader to be prepared for success coming into this tournament game?
No, it's fun watching, young people kind of evolve and, becoming the players that, we thought when we were recruiting them. He's a very capable scorer. I think people are seeing that more now. But it takes time to grow into those roles. And I think he's done a good job. I think you're seeing him starting to turn the corner of becoming the player that we think he can become. He's a scorer. He also can facilitate. I think he's shown all of those things now during his time here at UCF.
You said competitors want to keep playing. What was the reaction of players to the announcement you're continuing on in the NIT, especially the seniors?
Well, they're happy to be still playing. They realize the importance of it for them. Everyone wants to end their season with a win. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. That means you won a championship. And so those players feel the same way. They understand the importance of finishing out the season, having a chance to still compete for a championship. And then we have to go out and put our best foot forward, and that's where we have to, switch gears from being off since last Wednesday and to get ourselves back in gear to play. But our guys have practiced, really well. The spirits have been good in the gym, and that's what you want to see.
A lot of teams in the NIT probably wish they were in another tournament, and so you have had past success making deep runs in the NIT. Is there something you can tap into in terms of maybe the psychological aspect of it, or does it really just depend on who you're playing?
No, absolutely. I think it's all about the mindset, and it's all about, as competitors, I mean, keeping time and score. So somebody's going to win. So why not us? And I always tell our players that. And the same thing applies anytime you're playing any game. They're keeping time and score. So as competitors, you want to be on top of that. And so that's the approach we take with our guys. We take it one game at a time. We don't worry about who's in our bracket, who we're looking at beyond, USF. That's all we're concerned with. And we're going to pour all our prep into them. And hopefully we can, have a nice performance and we can move on. But we know if we don't play well, that won't happen because they're a very good basketball team.
What do you think about all these schools, opting out of the NIT? I know former coach Tom Crean kind of had an opinion on it last night on that broadcast, but a lot of teams are just saying they're not even interested, not even giving their players another chance to play.
Well, I mean, everyone has to coach their own program, so I have no real comment other than everyone's going to do what's best for their program. I'm a big believer in, the more games you get under your belt, the more experiences you share as a team, especially for the guys that may be returning, the better off you are because you're still working on chemistry, still working on playing in the postseason, albeit it may not be the tournament that you set your goals for. It doesn't mean you're still not playing a very good tournament. You have 355 Division I teams. You're talking about 100 teams that are still playing in either the NCAA or NIT. So for us, I have a great deal of respect for that, understanding that there are a lot of opportunity for us to grow as a team and for us to still compete for a championship in a situation where I know there are going to be some other very good teams in the field as well.
Johnny, how does the playing in the Big 12, how does that maybe help you guys, that experience going into this tournament and facing some teams that maybe aren't obviously on your conference schedule?
Well, it's going to be very competitive no matter what because everyone, any kind of tournament situation, you're going to see that in both tournaments, of course. It's do or die. So everybody's going to play with a desperation, a hunger. And so you have to come out every possession, understanding that you have to be, you have to execute very well, whether it's offensively or defensively on every possession, because no one wants to end their season. Anyone that's in this tournament wants to win this tournament. So you're going to see everyone's best effort on both sides. I don't think conferences are going to play that type of a factor or role in this type of an event, because just like the NCAA, you're going to see all kind of teams can emerge because, they're hungry, they're desperate, and they're going to make plays.
The players, the program earned the bid, and the NIT gave you a home game, but it's spring break. You've relied heavily this year on the crowd support. The players have fueled off that. What do you expect tomorrow night? What do you want tomorrow night?
Well, I understand it's spring break. I'm hoping any of the students that didn't go away, will attend the game, of course. That just really would be helpful, as well as our community here in Orlando. I'm hopeful that everyone will come out and rally around, especially, with the game of us and USF. So it's been our rival for years. So, I'm hoping that we can get a good crowd. I know they'll probably travel with a good crowd as well. So it should be hopefully a good environment for us to compete in.
Some rules changes in the NIT, namely the widening of the free throw lane. How have you taught that, practiced that here in the last day or so?
Well, we're in a position where we have to make sure that our guys understand it's going to be a little bit different as far as box outs and rebounding is concerned with the wider lane. And we have to make sure our guys understand that because of that, you're going to have to meet guys earlier, because if not, they'll have an opportunity to run around you and get to offensive rebounding position. So you got to be really cognizant of who you're boxing out and making sure you get contact.
Did you see that in practice today? Their
No.
adjustment?
No, we didn't do that in practice today. We went over, we shot free throws and did some things, but it was mostly on us trying to understand the importance of, being focused and knocking our free throws down.
Coach, I know there's still basketball left to play with the postseason, but with the way the regular season's gone, UCF's first year in the Big 12 basically complete. How do you feel about how they did this year, and how do you feel about the future of this program and your role in it?
Well, it's tough for me because, like I said, we have our standards, and so I think as far as our standards were concerned, we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. I think as far as, I think the expectations around us, I think, we probably surprised some people who maybe achieved, in people's opinions of what we were supposed to do. So it's just a matter of perspective. I just don't like to get beat. I mean, I never will. That when that time comes, it's time for me to go do something else. So, of course, that's how I feel about it, and my team does too. But as far as I think expectations outside, I think, people will, generally speaking, will say that they were surprised and that we overachieved based on where they thought we'd finish in the Big 12.
I know you're no longer in the same conference as USF, but just what do you think about the job Coach Abdur-Rahim did in his first season, coming in from Kennesaw and leading the Bulls to a regular season conference championship?
I think the coach did a amazing job with his group. I understand how competitive the American Conference is. We were in it for a number of years. To win the championship says a lot about him and his team. They did a great job of coaching, he and his staff, and his players did a great job of playing for each other. That's the only way you can accomplish something of that magnitude.
Obviously, it's the War on I-4 tomorrow night, the NIT. Would this be a series that you consider maybe in the non-conference schedule in years to come?
Yeah, we'll always consider, USF because, like I said, they've been a rival. I think our area, our community, have liked that game. And so, we'll look at our schedule based on, I'm not sure now, we're adding teams in the Big 12, so I'm not sure how we're going to, go about this as far as scheduling, games or how many games we'll be playing in that conference because I haven't heard anything. But, we have to be aware of all those factors, but, we'll always entertain it because, again, I think it's been, I know during my time, it's been a great game. It's been some amazing games versus them over the years.
What's the health of your team going into tomorrow?
Fairly healthy. We're not at full strength. Of course, everybody's banged up this time of year, so I'm not sure if we'll have everyone, participating, but, we're still fairly healthy, as far as, where we are in preparation for tomorrow's game.
Anybody not playing?
If anybody doesn't play, it'll be CJ. CJ may not play tomorrow's game.
What's wrong?
Still, battling the same things he's been battling since he's, been here for us and still recovering. But, he's not scheduled to be out the entire time. So if we are fortunate enough to continue and move forward, there's a possibility he could be back for us.
Johnny, 9 o'clock tip tomorrow night. What is that? Do you have to change anything when you're looking at a later tip like that? Does that go through your mind? Anything maybe different you have to do?
For us, our prep will stay the same. Everything will just get pushed back by a couple hours of how we function usually with a 7 o'clock tip. we'll push everything back by 2 hours and work off the same schedule at that point.
Just real quick on the portal, I'm just kind of curious how you operate that as a staff in terms of just recruiting the portal. Do you have a coach or a couple coaches that are kind of maybe in charge of the portal and evaluating guys and bring them to you if these are guys we could be interested in?
Well, our entire staff, looking at the portal to see exactly, what's going on. And we get updates on the portal, regularly to see who's in the portal because we can't do anything until they're in the portal. So we're just looking at what names are surfacing, would they be fits for us and or, what we're looking to do. So, but all of our guys take responsibility for that, all of our staff. And, of course, our support staff are, that's for them, it's around the clock because their eyes are on it all the time as we're practicing or playing games.
A lot of USF fans have said that their season earned them, a home game, and now they face the road. Does that make them a more dangerous team, perhaps, that they're a little frustrated that they're not hosting?
I think any added motivation, I can understand it. But I think the fact that it's, a previous rival, I think that will be a lot of motivation in itself for both teams to get out there and compete. And that's just added maybe motivation for them. But the bottom line is, even without that, they're going to compete in this game, of course, just like we would because, we both have been, joined at the hip as long as I have been here.
Big 12 got a record 8 schools in the NCAA tournament. You think that's legit? Think that's fair for the conference?
Having played in the conference, absolutely. I think it's fair. I think all those teams are deserving of that opportunity based on how they play, this year. I mean, I've had a chance to face all those teams, and I thought they actually could have had more, to be quite frank. But I understand how this game is. But definitely, it was so competitive from top to bottom, and I think I've said that before. It was like there was really no bottom, it was just top and middle. I mean, it was such a, it was a very small, difference or separation between the teams. And I think that showed all season long. That's how healthy a conference it is.
To you to continue to be able to play basketball in the NIT and to have a unique opportunity to play, a rival like USF.
It's definitely exciting that the season's not over. We get another chance to prove ourselves and to prove that we can be better. It's not where we wanted to end up, but, we're still playing the postseasons with a few other teams. So all eyes are on us now. We had another opportunity to play at home in front of our fans. Last time we went out, we didn't go out the way we wanted to, especially for our seniors. So I feel like we get another chance to, prove our fans the right way. And to continue on the rival, it's huge. We have a lot of new guys on the team, so some of them don't realize how big the rivalry is. So I just try to, relate to them about their high school rivalries or any AAU rivalries that they had and translate it over to college.
What's the juice for you in this rivalry?
They've been a great team this year. They're definitely going to have a chip on their shoulder coming in thinking they should have been in March Madness, but we thought we should have been there as well. They won their regular season in the American. We had a decent year in the Big 12. So I feel like they're definitely coming in with a chip on their shoulder.
Darius.
What was your team's reaction overall? You said, we thought, we should have been in March Madness too. But you guys, are you going to bring the juice? You feel good and mentally everyone's ready to go for this game?
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I'm not going to say anything about the selection key. I feel like it's more so within the team that we feel like we let a few games slip away, especially close possession games that we let get away that we knew we had to win, and we didn't.
Darius, I know you're a guy that would have preferred to have it happen in a winning effort, but obviously had that big game against BYU. Is that something you or the team can build on to take it into this game over and above the rivalry?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that both the team and I can improve on. Moving forward, came down to winning. I feel like had the hot hand, so I just kept taking my shots. All my teammates and coaches, they all trusted me and believe in me. I put a ton of work in, and I have no choice but to believe in myself. So I think moving forward, it'll be great. I have to be able to carry the team, help my team win in any way.
Darius, having to face USF again, we talked about you faced them before, obviously. Rivalries, how hard is that to get? Is it easier to get up for a rival or a team that is just down the road from you and maybe their fan base is talking trash and everything and all that? Is it easier to get up for games like that sometimes?
Yeah, I would say they're definitely a little bit more to get up for, and especially since it's a rivalry. They're down the road, and especially we didn't think that we'd be playing them anymore because we're in the Big 12 and they're still in the American. So it's super exciting because I remember actually asking Coach, "Are we still gonna have the game against USF?" So fortunate enough, it actually works out. So we do get a chance to play them and continue on that rivalry.
Would you like to see UCF maybe play USF every year in a non-conference game?
Yeah, I feel like that should definitely happen. You know, Oklahoma State, they play each other, but although they're still in the same conference, I just feel like that one game, you should at least have that one rivalry game a year to just come in with a chip on your shoulder and be able to compete at a high level.
On this roster for guys like yourself, and especially for the guys who this is their final year, you know, how big is it for them to get another opportunity to play? I know that you guys wanted to make the NCAA tournament, but we've seen the NIT, a lot of teams, you know, several teams, even Oklahoma, are opting out. Like they're not giving their players an opportunity to play again. How did your roster feel when you learned that you still have more basketball left to play?
I feel like everyone was excited. You know, we still had an opportunity to be able to play. You know, everyone's still improving. I feel like it's a bigger opportunity for some other guys, you know, who are seniors. You know, still be able to be watched by scouts and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a great opportunity for everyone.
Give us a little scouting report on USF. What did they do well?
They're a very, very similar team to BYU. They shoot the ball. A lot of guys on the team that can shoot the ball. And they have a lot of good guard play. You know, they have a 6'10" kid who can play a little bit of the 5, but plays like a guard, really. So we're going to have to be in the gap, you know, talking on defense, making sure we limit their threes and stop them in transition.
Darius been playing through the Big 12. Many people say it's the best conference, you know, for basketball in the nation. By the time Tuesday's over, you would have played 3 conference champions. When you have that much of a schedule, what is it that is present at UCF that let that build come from the American last year to this year going into the postseason?
I would just say the thing that you know happened in the American is toughness. You know, I would not say that there's any lack of toughness in that conference. I would say the American may be just a little bit more tougher than the Big 12. If not, they're right there head and head. So I feel like the physicality and the toughness is going to be there every single night. You're not going to have any nights off or anything like that. I mean, some teams will be more together chemistry-wise and make more connecting plays and stuff like that. But for the physicality and the toughness part, it's pretty much it goes hand in hand.
Darius, is there anything from this season playing in the Big 12 that maybe gives you a little advantage going into this game or going into the NIT? I mean, playing the roster of teams you guys have played in the Big 12, I mean, does that maybe help you guys out a little bit?
I would say yes and no. At the end of the day, this is a rivalry, so all the kind of X's and O's pretty much go out the window. You coming in, compete at a high level with a chip on your shoulder. You know, last time they beat us on our home court last year, if I believe correctly, they actually swept us last year. So we definitely got to return the favor this year, getting them played them one time at home.
Kind of carrying on what you just said, did that really bother you last year? Is that something? I mean, it's only you and CJ and Scylla that I guess have actually played against USF, but the fact that you had a sour taste in your mouth over the way the war on I-4 ended last year, is that something you think about as you get ready to play these guys again?
Oh, yeah. I mean, last year was definitely disappointing, so to be able to get that get back is definitely, you know, something I'm looking forward to.
One of the preseason storylines was all the new guys and the need to form chemistry. As you've looked over this season, where do you think the team is now and its bond and its chemistry and its communication?
I think the bonding is still there. You know, we have a bunch of great guys on the team, and we love playing with each other. I feel like the chemistry is still getting better. You know, you still have a bunch of new guys still learning each other, and you know, as roles turn, sometimes people go down. You have different lineups, so you still have to learn to play with other people you're not playing with as much in practice. So, you know, we're still learning that, and I feel like defensively, it's just come down to communication on the defensive end.
You guys played so well at home this year. Do you still have that same level of confidence for a 9 o'clock game during spring break?
Yeah, I feel like we do. I actually like the later games rather than the earlier games. But, you know, 9 is probably one of the latest games I've played. So, you know, we're hoping as much as Knight Nation comes out, you know, although we're on spring break, it's still hopefully get a good crowd because it is a rivalry game.
It always feels good to come out and compete to play basketball, especially at the highest level. So the NIT is the second best tournament, so I know we didn't do what we expected us to do, but I'm cool with playing in NIT, and I want to win it as well. I just don't want to play it just to play it.
What was most frustrating about the way you bowed out of the Big 12 tournament and that loss to BYU?
Because we all felt like we could have won that game. We just didn't execute, so that would probably be the most stressful thing, I think. And I think it was set up for us to win it all, but against BYU, we just ain't come out with the fire that I thought we should have came out with.
With that, you mentioned that mind that you felt like you left stuff on the court. Is that something you could carry into Tuesday's game to kind of lift you up and have that second chance?
Most definitely. Just build up all them emotions and come out fighting. Just to know that last time we stepped on this court, it didn't come out to a great ending. So just coming out, shooting our bullets and just making sure we win this game.
Jaylin, you haven't been around this program with have not played USF, so now you know it's a rivalry, and I'm sure, as Darius mentioned, he brought it up. I mean, what do you see when you see a team that comes down the road to face you guys here at home in the NIT? What do you think when it comes to a rivalry?
For me, every game is the same, but a rivalry game, I just want to, since they got swept last year, I just want to get it for Darius and Silla and also the senior, you know. But every game is the same way with me, you know. I just want to come out and win. Every game is a hunting game for me, so especially how we just came out versus BYU.
Who were your previous rivals at other stops you've been? Did you have a high school rivalry? Did Ball State have a big rival? Who were some of the big rival games that you've played in?
I would say my biggest one was probably high school. High school, it was called Carver versus Spencer game. That was probably the highest one, a very competitive and chippy game. Also what I'm expecting it to be versus USF.
What stands out to you as you're looking at USF? What do they do really well? How do you think you match up?
I think how they play together. I think they play together well, and also they play just like BYU. They play kind of out of the split action with back doors, stop behind screens, and all of them can shoot the ball. So we got to be ready for that.
Any cause for concern considering how you guys did against BYU?
Not at all. Not at all. As long as we go out there and execute, I feel like we'll be fine. We listen to Coach Dawkins and go out there and execute, we'll be fine.
How did the players react to the news that, you know, you'd be in the NIT? I mean, we've seen, you know, some schools are opting out and deciding not to play in the NIT, and those players don't get another opportunity to play. How did you guys respond to that news that you're playing?
I think we responded well. It's a great opportunity to come out there and perform, and also it can help everybody. You know, we come out there and win, and it can help everybody. You know what I'm saying? It can help the coaches, it can help the players, any players that want to raise their stock size seniors as well. For them being their last season, we can leave it out with a ring.
What does UCF have to do tomorrow to get out of here with a win? I know you've been talking all season long about that 40 minutes and
Right.
how frustrated you've been about maybe the team hasn't always done that. What do you need to see the team do, especially off the start of the game?
I most definitely think it's going to start with the start five, just making sure that we coming in and executing our plays, executing on defense, and also making sure we do that for 40 minutes, you know, just making sure we do that for 40 minutes and stand together for 40 minutes, and also making sure that we guard the three-point line.
Looking back on your first season here at UCF, what do you think you proved maybe to yourself and others about what kind of player you are, you know, going through your first year in the Big 12 too?
I think I proved that I belong, you know, and I still haven't played my best basketball. I'm going to keep expressing that. So I feel like I proved I belong, you know, but I got a lot of growth to do. So.
What do you think the team has proved?
The team most definitely proved that we belong. Everybody know that we gave up no games. I think when we lose games, a lot of teams be like, phew, we got up out of there. Because my opinion, I really don't think no one want to see us. That's just my opinion.
Next year would be your final year of eligibility, right? So what more can you accomplish? What more do you want to prove? What areas of your game can get better, you know, looking ahead to what will be your final season next year?
Just making sure that I make sure everything is tightened up on my shot, my footwork, and making sure that I get better on pick and roll. And also I just want to leave with making it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, where did you improve the most this year coming in, just working with Coach Dawkins and then this staff? What part of your game really you think took a step up?
I would probably say that my vocal. I've never been the one that talks a lot. I think this year I talk way more than I did last year. Just being able to try to be a better leader as I can. But I also can grow in that standpoint as well.
Are you comfortable being that?
I'm not. I wouldn't say that I'm comfortable, but being uncomfortable is a good thing. I think a lot of people run from the uncomfortable, but you know, I'm just trying to embrace it every day, and just making sure that I get better and better every day. I would call myself a growth junkie. Every time somebody look back at me, I want to say that dude, he's not the same dude that he was last year.
What was your favorite moment from this season? I mean, I know the season's not over yet, but just to this point, what part of the season or what game kind of stands out to you as a favorite memory?
My favorite memory would probably be the Kansas game. Most definitely would probably be the Kansas game. Just how, not even that we won the game, just how we started off the game. I felt like we played more together that game than any game in the conference, just as my opinion.